Yes, guys, welcome to another stream, man. This is going to be a completely random phone-in show for our Xtra Club members. So if you guys want to get yourself involved and you're an Xtra Club member, hit that link at the top, go to the community post, and you'll see exactly how to get involved. Make sure that when you do join, you got your camera on so I can see you. If you've not got your camera on, I can't see you in the background. I won't be putting you on, so make sure that you're on your camera, man. But yeah, good to see everyone, man. Early bird catches the worm. Yes, Des Doyle, man. How you doing? Christy and Caitlin, yes, tuning in from the Gold Coast in Australia. Yes. Big up my man, Sai. These tunes are sick. Honestly, bro, I love them tunes, man. I can't get enough of them. I think they're absolutely mega. Shout out Simpad, yes. I think I can see you in the background there, bro. So I'll get you on in just a second, man. Freddie Pie, yes. Shout out my man Freddie. Get the beers in. Beers are in the fridge, bro. Beers are in the fridge. City Extra gonna clean up at the awards night tonight. Fingers crossed. City Extra been nominated for I think 2. Maybe Freddie can confirm in the chat. I think it's 2 awards tonight. City Extra are up for at the Football Content Awards. We're there. We're repping it. Hopefully, City Extra clean up, man. But we'll see. We will see. Shout out Christian Cately as well. Just rejoined the Extra Club. Good to have you back, Christian. Thanks a lot for the support. I'm 1 month away from a year. That's wild. Thanks so much for the support, man. TSM on G Fuel. Yes. Shout out my man TSM. Member for 2 says yes. But yeah, man, it's good to see people in. Look, I'm going to get people straight in. I've got people on camera there. I got my man MX RTZ. I got Simpad as well. Let me unmute your mic there, Simpad, because you have to do it yourself, Simpad, boy. It looks like you're muted.
Hey.
How we doing, boys? We good, man?
Yeah, great. How are you?
All good, man. All good. Let me just ask you a quick question, yeah. How are you boys feeling about the World Cup? Are you excited for it or no? A lot of people are a bit down in the dumps, like not really asked about it. What are you boys saying?
Ooh, not to be fair. If you want me to be honest, not really. I mean, it's different. You know, the World Cup's in the winter. It's not the same as it usually is, so it's a bit different. To be fair, it's like the first time where I care more about the club football. Really, I want the results, man. I want the results for City, but you know, maybe it's because the World Cup hasn't started yet. But you know, the World Cup is the World Cup. It's different, but you know, let's hope we bring it home.
Yeah, that's the one, man. Simpad,
Yeah,
what you saying, bro?
Same for me, because like I'm Indian, so obviously India doesn't play in the World Cup, so it's kind of tough for me to get excited for the World Cup in general, anyways. But I still like to watch international football. But yeah, club football for me. I'm excited still. I mean, sometimes it's nice to have a break from City, but I don't think this is the right time, because we just had a break like 3-4 months ago, and that's always sad. So yeah, it's not the right time, but it is what it is. We're just gonna enjoy it, I guess.
Who you backing then as a neutral, Simpad? Obviously, like say India not in it, yeah. Who you backing to? I've got Argentina. You know, I think Argentina are going to go and slam it this year. What are you saying?
I think Brazil is gonna win. I don't know. There's just something about them. I think they just have a great squad, like from front to back. So yeah, but I'll be supporting England because I'm a big fan of English football. So it'll be cruel of me to not support England. But yeah.
You think what are you saying about Southgate then, bro? You know what I mean? Like for me, yeah, when I watch his football, it's one of them. I'm in a bit of a conflicted position with Southgate, because I feel like his tactics could work because obviously it's bare hot in Qatar, and you know what I mean. I'm going to go on the weather now and see what weather it's like now. Yeah, but I bet it's like 30 degrees. Yeah, 32 degrees. His slow football might actually work, man, but it is negative, isn't it? You know what I mean? It is negative.
Yeah, I see. I like the memes. I like the Southgate is gonna bring it home thing, and I was for it in the Euros as well. I was like, he missed a penalty in the Euros, and he's gonna bring it home. But obviously that didn't happen. But see, he's an interesting manager. I mean, he's just like Tuchel, right? He's good for tournaments, so he can get us far to like semifinals and finals. But when it comes to his final stages, can he really like deliver it? Like you see in the finals, he's made terrible calls in the finals, bringing on players just for penalties and subbing off players in the extra time. And yeah, it was just weird. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think this is his last chance. If he doesn't do good, I think they're gonna sack him. To be honest. But yeah.
Big calls, man. Big calls. Hey, yo, talk to me about City then, boys. What we saying?
Oh, I don't even want to get started, especially after that result, the Brentford result. I'm still not over it, man, because we could have gone top. It was such a poor performance, but we always got to think positive after the break. Let's hope we can catch some form and just head flying.
Yeah, that's the most disappointing result because then for 2 months there's basically going to be no City, and you're just going to have to keep that result in the back of your mind. And a win would have been perfect. It's just like you're happy. Okay, you might not have been top. You're 2 points off the top or whatever, but at the end of the day, you're still up there. And 5 points is still obviously. I'm not. I still think we're going to win the title, but just like the defeat is just it's kind of depressing.
Yeah, what are you saying then about the league? Obviously, I've seen a lot of people. I know you say like you're still confident. I'm confident. I still think we'll win the league by like 10, 15 points come the end of the season. But yeah, I've seen some fans in the stream, man, ain't that confident. I can't. Yeah. I don't get why, man. Because you know what I mean. Like we've done this before. We've been in this position before against a harder team in Liverpool, right? And I just feel like we should be confident. Yeah, okay, we're 5 points behind, but we beat them both times where we go above them. Like, what are you saying then, bro? MX, what are you saying, bro?
I mean, 100%. I'm the same with you, but the longer the season goes on, and every time I see Arsenal pick up points, I get more and more worried. Like, of course, I still think we're going to win the league. As you said, we've been in this situation before with Liverpool, but I think Arsenal got like a paper thin squad as well. I don't think their squad is as good as ours, and yeah, but it's just as like the longer the season goes on, Arsenal picking up points and points, and then in my head, I'm getting a little bit worried because you see us dropping points that we shouldn't be dropping to teams like Brentford, and then there's Arsenal keep on picking up points. It's getting me a little bit worried, but you know what? Fingers crossed. Hopefully, we'll still get the job done.
Yeah, look at this, Benno in the chat. Yeah, obviously regular viewer of the channel, man. Obviously goes to the games as well. I think he goes to the games. I'm pretty sure he goes to the games, Benno. Confidence is shot. Is that just the one game that's making people not confident there, or is it something that people have seen throughout the season? Because, like I say, like for me, up until the Liverpool game, I thought we were playing really, really well. You know what I mean? And then Liverpool happened. Obviously, Kyle Walker being out is a big miss in my view. I think that
100%.
he gives so much balance to the back line, and because he gives the balance to the back line, I just feel like that allows the midfield and the forward players to do more. And because he's injured, we're not really seeing that balance. I feel like he's got a big part to play when he comes back from the World Cup. Touch wood that is injury free. But like, I don't know, man. Is it just a one game, or is it something that you guys have seen like in the season so far? What are you saying?
I think it's because of the World Cup, to be honest. Because like if you think about it, by December we'll be like 5 points off the top, and that's a false image, obviously. Because by December we would have generally in the normal season played 5 or 6 more games, and 5 or 6 games is a lot of games. So when people look at they're like, oh, in January we're still going to be 5 points off the top, right? People are like, oh wow, that's kind of crazy. But you still look like at the league table, it's only 14 games we've played, so there's still like 5 games of like the. I think we've played 14, but somewhere around that, and it was still like 5 games of like the halfway point. So we're not even halfway through the season. So like you should still be confident. In River City, we came back from like 7 points behind against that Liverpool side in 18-19. So I'm not worried. I'll be worried, like he said, as the season goes on. I don't think we'll win the league by 10, 15 points, LB. I don't know what you're on.
Oh
But
man, honestly, I say that with quite a lot of confidence, because the reason I've said this on the stream so many times, is that Arsenal haven't proven that they can go a full season without having like a crumble. And I feel that when they get into them deeper stages of the Europa League, if they get there, and they're in that FA Cup and that, and the pressure is truly on them. Because, bro, I said this yesterday, right? If you go on the bookies, yeah, and look at who's favourite to win the league, City is still massive favourites. No one really backs Arsenal to win the league at this point. But the closer they get, with every win that they accumulate, every point that they accumulate, getting closer and closer to that title, or the pressure's just going to ramp up on them. And I don't think they're going to be able to deal with that pressure. And I'm not saying that because I have some inherent hatred for Arsenal. I'm saying that because I have to say that because they've not proven that they can do that over a period. Last season, for example, them guys should have got the top four. What happened? They bottled it. So what makes people, just because they signed Zinchenko and Jesus, that they're just going to suddenly turn into like this world-class team that won't bottle stuff? I don't believe that's the case. If they do it, fair play to them. But until they proved it to me, man, I don't know, man. I just don't back it. MX, what you say about Arsenal? You think they can go all the way?
See, I don't know if they could push us. As I said, I'm not sure about the squad depth, but as you said, touched on before as well, every time they get a win, I'm like, maybe this could go somewhere far. But they've got some brilliant players like Zinni and Gabby, who they signed from us. We know as City fans, they're good players and they can get the job done. But we'll see. The season is very unpredictable, and that's what I love about football. So we'll see at the end of the day. But as I said, I think they'll probably sack one of them off, like the Europa League or the FA Cup, because I think their main objective is to get top four Champions League football. That's what their fans want. That's what their fans have been pushing for so many years. So I think Champions League football is the main goal for them. And I think they're just seeing where this purple patch, you could almost say, is taking them. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, another thing about Arsenal is that, like again, the squad depth is pretty low, but I think that can kind of help them towards the end of the season, because towards the end of the season, when we're playing a game literally every 3 days, Champions League semi-finals, and then we have the FA Cup semi-final. I don't think Arsenal are going to go far in like any of the other competitions there, and I think they're going to get knocked out of the Europa League pretty soon. I think did they get knocked out of the Carabao Cup already?
Yeah,
They
they
did, right?
did. They did.
Yeah,
They got
and
knocked out.
yeah, so that's another competition last. I mean, I know Carabao Cup ends early, but still, I think towards the end of the season, it could help them. It's just the middle part of the season. I think they'll struggle from January to February. But yeah, we'll see. I still think we're gonna win the league by like 5 to 8 points. 15 is kind of crazy, but it's I back it. Hey, if it's 15, I'll be happy.
Let's see, man. I'm going to bring in Craig here as well. Yes, Craig, man. I don't know if you can hear us. How you doing?
Oh, all right. First things, all three of us as viewers, look at this, flying the colours. Mr.
Wait.
City Extra over there.
Unbelievable, LB.
I mean, listen, yeah. I don't do them things. I always just like the plain black T-shirt, man, or something like that. I don't really wear them too much, man. I've got them. In. To be fair, I used to have a thing there when I first moved into the flat. I put a scarf there, but then my girlfriend moved it, man. She said it was ugly. You know what I mean? What's all that about?
Boo.
Innit? So it's gone, man. It's gone then. Hi, Craig, man. Talk to me. How have you thought the season's gone so far? We did the season review last night. What are you saying?
It's just been a Haaland show, really, hasn't it? Like from day one. I mean, there was question marks initially, but I don't think anyone with a grain of footballing brain cells would like question how good he was going to be, and I think it's just proved it. I saw it was a tweet or a quote from him recently. It's like, with the World Cup and he's not going and stuff. What you been doing with your time? He's like, yeah, have a rest, do a bit of pre-season work, kind of. But then he also kind of said, I don't really need to improve on anything specific. And I think that's true. I think he just needs to grow and just like I don't think there's a single part of his game that he really needs to like work on specifically. Just over time, I think we'll just start just doing ridiculous things that we haven't seen a striker do in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I've said before as well on the stream that like people sometimes forget that he's only been here like 3 months. Like, what happens when he fully like learns about the system? What happens when Kevin and Foden and Grealish fully understand where he's going to be? Because they've not got that 100% chemistry yet because they can't have because he's only been here for 3 months. So once these guys click, I mean, it's going to be scary to see what Haaland's doing. MX, I'll bring you in on this, man. What are you making of Haaland? And like, how far do you think this guy can take us? Do you think he can win us the Champions League? That's what apparently he was brought in for. That's what people say.
100%. 100%. It's the thing is, I think that this team and Haaland aren't even as good as they even can be. I think they can be even better. I think this team still needs some time to adapt with a striker and gain that chemistry. But I think this guy, he's only 22. He's not even in his prime yet. I think it's unbelievable. I hope he can time down for as long as possible because I know that release clause is there. But, I think he's an unbelievable striker, probably the best finisher in the world at the moment, best striker in the world. And hopefully he can take us to that Champions League, that he can be that missing piece of the puzzle. But, I just want to win trophies. That's it. I'm happy with the trophies we're winning. And you know what? The Champions League would be very nice though as well. That's why maybe he's even brought in for. So, yeah.
Simple, bro. Talk to me. Haaland, what are you making of him?
Oh my God, he's crazy. Like, I don't get it. Like, he's just crazy. Like, you can't score 2 to 3 goals every other game. Like, at one point, he had like a brace, then a hat trick, then another hat trick, then another brace. Like, that is just crazy. I've never seen it in my lifetime, at least. So, yeah, like you said, it's still going to take time. Sometimes I do think that players kind of overdo it, though. Like, you see against Brentford, KDB was just spamming crosses. And he have like 25 crosses and like 5 of them were successful, which is like Jesus Navas levels. But he was spamming crosses the entire time. And even against the Liverpool game, I remember one situation where Gundo, he was in a perfect shooting opportunity, like he could have just goaled it in the bottom corner, and he passed it to Haaland instead. And I think sometimes people just kind of get in their heads where they're like, oh, I have the ball, I can shoot, but there's Haaland, then let me just pass it to him. And you just have to back yourself because you're still like incredible. Every person in the squad is incredible. So yeah, but that's just going to improve over time. People are going to realize you don't always have to pass to Haaland. And even Foden got criticized for it towards the beginning of the season. Well, to be fair, one of them he should have passed it, but the other time I didn't see the pass at all. So yeah, I think it's just going to get better with time. And Haaland is crazy, so he's just going to keep scoring goals. The Champions League, I would love to win it. It's the only thing that's
alone,
kind of holding us back. But hey, if we don't get it, I would be happy if we win a Premier League for the rest of my life, every single year. I'll take that over one Champions League.
Yeah, well, I always say, man, I think the Premier League's your bread and butter, innit? You don't play 38 matches not to win the trophy. So that's what I'm saying. Look, I want to bring this up here because obviously there's been a lot of talk about, Ilkay Gundogan's future, Bernardo's future, and obviously the future of a certain Jude Bellingham, who's obviously with the England squad at the World Cup. This is the news coming out in the last sort of hour from Fabrizio saying, regardless of what happens with Gundogan, City want to sign a midfielder. And City could be one of the clubs in the running for Jude Bellingham, and they would also be prepared to wait one more year before signing him. This might suit Dortmund, but it will also depend on the player's decision. That's interesting because obviously they'll have 2 years left on his contract in the summer. So if they do decide to not go for him in 2023 and go for him in 2024, he's only going to have 1 year left on his deal. And I do think that we need something else in that midfield. I think Gundogan for me this season, as much as it pains me to say it, I don't think he's been great. We don't know what's going on with Bernardo Silva. Is he coming? Is he going? And Kevin De Bruyne's not getting any younger. So I think, and I don't think that Pep right now is trusting Phil Foden in that midfield position. Otherwise, we would have seen him more. So, what are you lads saying about? I'll come to you, Craig, on this one. What are you saying about a potential reinforcement in the midfield, man? Do you think Jude Bellingham could be that guy? Do you think we need anyone in midfield?
I would love to have Jude Bellingham join the team, but I don't see City going for a player with that kind of price tag on his head without a resolution to Pep's future first. I think that needs to be sorted. I don't see Jude signing a contract without knowing who the manager's going to be.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think that whole thing just relies on Pep's future. And didn't he say during the World Cup he's going to make a decision, or after it or something?
Well, yeah. On the Sky Sports interview he said it's going to be around the World Cup time. And of course, we already know that Man City are going to Abu Dhabi for a warm weather training in the winter. So, I mean, put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, so I think it's difficult to really make any concrete assumptions until that discussion has been had. After that has taken place, I think we can be either Pep stays and then people like Bellingham might join. But until that bridge has been crossed, I think it's hard to come to any conclusion. I would love him to join, though. I think it'd be great. But I think we can wait a year if needs be, if we need to. I think Pep's the bigger issue right now.
Yeah, lads, what are you saying on that?
Yeah, 100%. I think Jude is an exceptional player. I think we'll actually get him. To be fair, I think he'll come, but I think one of our midfielders like Gundo or Bernardo will go. And as much as it pains me to say, I think Bernardo will eventually leave us, and I don't think there's a player who we can really replace Bernardo with. I think he's that unique. He's that good, and Jude Bellingham would be excellent, but. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think we'll get him, to be fair. I know there's Liverpool in the race, Madrid are in the race. But as Craig touched on, I think getting Pep to sign that contract is a bigger problem.
What are you saying about price tags, boys? Yeah, Simpad, I'll come to you on this one. Price tag for Jude Bellingham. What do you think it is? Because I've seen some wild valuations, man, from like 80 million all the way up to 150 million. He'll only have 2 years left on his contract. There's no release clause. What sort of price tag we're looking at, do you reckon?
I think 100 to 120. That's what I think that Dortmund would ask for. They can't ask below 100. Even with 2 years left on his contract, they'd rather just keep him for another year and then sell him next year for like 80 or something. I think we're looking at around 100, maybe add-ons, take it to 120. So it's pretty expensive, and he's still a teenager, right? So it's like that's crazy money. And I think City will, at the end of the day, would be willing to spend, because I think Gundo and Bernardo both are going to go. I think they both are going to go. And that's going to be
they're both going to go this summer?
Yeah, I think, because Bernardo is definitely, like, there's no way we keep him for another year against his will. Poor guy's asking for a transfer 2 years. And I think the third year he might leave. And Gundo, I mean, I'm reading the, interviews he's putting out. He's saying that he loves City. And there's just kind of, if he was it's like, I've seen this happen a lot, that whenever like a City player becomes a captain, they like leave the next year. It happened to David Silva, happened to Fernandinho. I think I just see it happening to Gundo as well. And that's why I think City, because we're just letting 2 people go. We signed Calvin Phillips as well. I think if he didn't sign Calvin Phillips, he would have kept Gundo. But with the signing of Calvin Phillips, and then we add Jude to the team, and then also we have like Cole Palmer, who's coming through, and I don't know how McAtee is doing. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, I mean, if they got rid of them both, that'd be some summer, man. I don't think everyone would be very happy about that. This is Jude Bellingham's stats for this season so far. You see it here. You got obviously the 22 appearances, 9 goals from a midfielder is pretty impressive with 3 assists there as well. And I think he's doing all right in the Champions League. Yeah, look at that. I mean, he's on some hot form in the Champions League. If you look at the goals, obviously scored against City in that home leg, which put them 1-0 up. Luckily, we managed to come back from that. But look at that, 4 goals in a row. I don't know they're playing Copenhagen and Seville, but you can only, playing against the 11 against you. Craig, what are you saying a little bit more on Bellingham, man? Like, for me, I do think that we need to strengthen that midfield, man. And I know you're saying that, the Pep Guardiola situation needs to be sorted out. But in terms of just the midfield, isolated, looking at that midfield in an isolated view, are you happy with it? Like I say, Kevin De Bruyne's 32, going on 33. Gundogan's 32. He's got that injury as well.
Yeah, we certainly need reinforcements. I mean, I think the identity of City is our midfielders. I think Yaya Toure and David Silva are like icons. David Silva just drew me in from like a mile off. Just loved watching him play. Jude would, he would fit the bill. Young, English, that helps with the whole like quota and stuff. I think Bernardo is off. I don't see him staying. Obviously, Gundogan's getting older. De Bruyne, I think he'll stay for a few more years. I don't see him going anywhere. He's been at the club for so long. I think he's the next one to get a statue, certainly. Bellingham would be great. Rice would be cool. I'm not sure really. Like I kind of trust the owners. They seem to like pick players like that I haven't heard of before. Sometimes I'm like, oh, who's this guy? And I go and look them up. I'm like, oh yeah, he's great, and they always seem to work. It's very rare that City get a signing and they go wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I guess yeah.
It's got.
I'm happy to sit by to see what happens. That's kind of the joy of being a City supporter. Everything just seems to go right.
Well, this is the thing. You mentioned the owners and obviously the board and that. When you have trust in the board, you can almost take that stance of like, well, I'll just see what they do, because they're hitting that hit rate of successful transfers right now is so high. Like if you look at across the road, for example, when you look at United, every signing that they make, you have no idea whether that's going to work or not, and majority of them in recent years haven't worked. Whereas us, like you say, like you can have complete faith in the board that they're going to make the right decision, and they can pull some guy from the lower leagues of Argentina, and he's probably still going to work. You know what I mean? Because they've got this scouting network which is so advanced and so good that I think
on that subject, it says a lot of Arsenal right now that they brought in Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus, and they're using like Mikel used to obviously be part of City. They feel like City light, and they're doing great things. It says a lot about the people that we hire and bring in. Like even if they're not good enough to be in our first team, they're doing great elsewhere. I mean, they're top of the league. So yeah, I think it says a lot about our recruitment and who City are as a club, and the people we get in. They do great elsewhere. They take it with them almost.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Nick Tolle. Nick Tolle, I don't know if you're ready, but I brought him in. Guys, I want to talk to you about Ilkay Gundogan, right? He's out of contract. He's still not signed a new contract. We don't know what's going on. There are rumours that Barcelona want him, Bayern Munich want him, possibly a club in Italy. I want to ask you a question, right? I want you to take this seriously because it's a genuine question. It's not just because I love Ilkay Gundogan. If we win the Champions League this year, right, and he captains us to our first ever Champions League, and all the big goals he scored for us, including the game against Aston Villa, does this guy deserve a statue at Manchester City? And I'm being serious. Nick Todd, man, welcome to the stream. You've been thrown in the deep end. Talk to me.
How's it, man? How's it? Yeah. Bro, he deserves a statue now. I don't know why people are waiting for the Champions League. He's literally won us the league with the last kick of a game. Almost. So I don't know what else you have to do to cement yourself. I mean, for other clubs, that would be legend worthy. So for me, he already deserves a statue, but I don't know how much space is around the stadium at the moment. So.
Oh, this space, don't you worry, man. This space. Yo, lads, Simpad, MX, what you saying? Gundo statue or what?
I mean, the goals against Villa. I was in the stream all my days. What a moment. Gundogan's brought me a lot of joy as a City fan, and if he captains us to the Champions League 100%, because that's like the dream, So yeah, I think 100%. I think he's a great player, and especially if he brings that big cup home to Manchester, then 100%.
Sinbad?
Yeah, if he wins the Champions League, then sure. Right now, I'm not sure because like at the end of the day, we're gonna have too many statues. Like, okay, I think okay, so for me, a person to get a statue, you have to think of them as being the best in the position that they were playing at, like during an era, right? So you think of Vincent Company, okay, he was definitely the best centre back for the last decade or so. Then David Silva, and then Sergio Aguero, and then KDB obviously deserves a statue. But when I think of Gundo, I don't like. I love him. Like he's a wonderful player. But I just don't see him as that statue. And that just, there's no disrespect. Not every player can get a statue because then you could make a case for a lot of players who could get a statue in the next 5 years. And I just think like filling the entire Etihad Stadium with statues is a little crazy. So, but if he wins the CL, then that's fair, right? Because he's won the
The
CL.
thing is, though, bro, I'd take you up on that point, right? Because I don't necessarily agree that it should just be for the best players. I think it should be for the players that have, obviously, if they have been great and they've been there a while, then obviously longevity. I think not everyone who reaches 10 years gets a statue. Of course, if you get 10 years, you get some other sort of thank you. As I was saying, Yaya and Fernandinho got the pitches named after them in the training camp. But Ilkay Gundogan pretty much won us that league with the goals. And I'm just saying, if he captains us to our club's first ever Champions League win as a captain, and he plays, I think if he plays, it's more obviously if he doesn't play because he might captain us, but just not play because Bernardo might play now. If he plays and captains us to a Champions League win, and what he did against Aston Villa last season, I mean, come on, man. I mean, come on, bro. That's
I
wild,
agree.
man.
I agree. I said if he wins the Champions League, then sure. But if he doesn't, and even if he I don't know, it's confusing because then you could also make a case for Fernandinho getting a statue because he was a great player for us for a long time. So again, if he wins the CL, then I'm all for it because I think he deserves it. Because like you said, it's not always about the best players; it's about the most iconic players. And at that point, he
iconic
would be
moments as
iconic.
well. And imagine
he
a
would be.
statue where he's holding the trophy up. Like that'd be wild. I would feel sorry, like in that situation, for someone like Fernandinho, who was an absolute rock for us for so long and so loyal. But I don't know, Craig, man. What are you saying?
Again, hot dogs. I don't know. That sounds very American. Yeah, I think they should be recognised for what they've done. You're right. Putting statues up everywhere is a bit overkill. I mean, he's going to end up with a terracotta army after a while. But yeah, no, Gundogan did a lot for the club. You should certainly have a send off when it does go. I think you're right in suggesting that he's got 1-2 more seasons left in him, maybe. And if he does lift the trophy this summer with the Champions League, then give him whatever he wants.
It is difficult, isn't it? And this is why obviously the Yaya Toure debate gets thrown in all the time. And Titus throws this in and says, if Yaya didn't get it, I'm sorry, but I don't see how Gundogan gets it. And it is tricky. It is difficult to say who gets a statue and who does. And some people might be like, it's not that important, but I do think it's important. I think it's important to decide who gets a statue, who gets nothing, who gets a training pitch named after them. Do you know what I mean? Because ultimately, that's their legacy. I mean, Vincent Kompany, Aguero, Silva, KDB when he gets one, whatever. These players have got that statue outside our stadium for the next however many years, hundreds of years, depends how long we stay in the Etihad Stadium for. Think about that. In 100 years, if we're still at the Etihad, which we probably will be because it's you can build it out. Kids learning about these players, man. No one's going to learn about Fernandinho in 50 years. No, I'm sorry, that's just the truth. No one's going to learn about these sort of players, but people will learn about David Silva, Sergio Aguero, and imagine our captain who lifted the first ever Champions League, and no one really knows who he is in 50 years, 70 years time because he's not got that proper respect because he's not got the statue. That's why I think they're so important. They stand the test of time, whereas a training pitch, not being funny, no disrespect, that doesn't. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I do have some bias. I do like Gundogan, as you all know, in it. So I'm shouting him out. I don't. You know what's funny as well, Nick? So I don't even think I'm shouting him out right now, like you are. Maybe you need to take over that Gundogan stance. But I think if we win that Champions League, it's going to be well. In fact, let's talk about the Champions League a little bit, boys, because it's a situation where I've mentioned the Champions League I think we're going to win it this year. I also think Calvin Phillips could have a big part to play in it. We've not spoke about him yet, because I think that Pep may go to a double pivot with Rodri and Phillips. And the reason I think we might do that is because we've conceded so many goals in knockout football in the Champions League over the years that surely Pep Guardiola is thinking about how can I protect our defence? How can we stop conceding goals? And I wonder if Calvin Phillips is the missing part of the puzzle. Any of you guys can jump in on that. MX, I'll come to you, bro.
All right. I think Phillips is a great player. I think people overhate on him quite a lot. I mean, you even saw when he came on against Chelsea, he had a decent game. We scored like 2 goals after he came on, so he had a decent impact. I hope he just gets that confidence under his belt, and like if we go to a double pivot, I think maybe it could work, and maybe if not, even push Rodri for his place. But I think Phillips is a great player, going to the England squad for a reason. You know, he's been injured for all this time, but clearly the manager trusts him. If he's just come back from an injury and he's already in the England squad, and he's probably going to start in a double pivot with Rice. So I think Phillips is a great player, and I think he will come good eventually, whether it's in a double pivot or even pushing Rodri.
Do you think he will play double pivot, or do you think he'll just go, I've got Haaland now, so I'll keep these open games? Because we do play open football. For a team that likes possession play, and in a knockout game, we are usually quite open, and that's proven by some of the goals that we've conceded. Do you think he will play double pivot, or do you think he'll just go, I've got Haaland now, so we open up the game, we'll score more chances because he's a better finisher than what we've had in previous years?
I'm not sure, because I mean, we've got so much creativity in midfield. I feel like in a double pivot, I don't know if we'll be able to take advantage of it as much, since the midfielders are going to be more focused on the defending. So I'm not sure. I think we have been leaking quite a lot of goals this season compared to last season. I remember we were quite solid last season at the back, and this season I think we've been leaking more goals than usual. So I think you know what, in Pep we trust. If he wants to try the double pivot, then hey, let's see where it takes us. So I don't think he'll play it, but you know what, if it works, it works, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, any of you lads coming in on that Champions League thoughts?
Well, if you just look at Real Madrid, for example, the one that won 5 Champions Leagues recently, they play different in the league to how they play in the Champions League. So they do go to a pivot. In the Champions League final against Liverpool, Cruz often dropped in with Casemiro as well, and Modric as well. They would often interchange. So you do have to change how you play, especially for cup games, because obviously you can get knocked out in like 5 minutes, as we know. So yeah, I think we will. I think we will do the double pivot at some stage, even if we just try it out and then see how it goes.
Craig, Simpad, Champions League?
Sorry, I need to jump in now, guys. I need to go over a work call in 5 minutes, so I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. I'll catch you guys later.
Nice one, Craig.
Bye.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot for Craig coming on. Simpad, what are you saying? Champions League thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think if he is gonna play the double pivot, I think he would rather throw Bernardo and play him as a deeper player, because I think when in the Champions League, I think he's always gone for experience. You see, in the final, he started Raheem Sterling, which was completely random. I still don't understand the decision, but I think he'll go for experience over anything else. So Calvin, look, he's played 46 minutes for us or something like that, so I can't really judge him. I've seen him play for England, and that's about it. I don't watch Leeds matches, guys. So yeah, I don't know. I think he would rather play Bernardo as a deeper role. And if he's gonna play Calvin, I don't see who he drops. Like, he can't drop Kevin, he can't drop Haaland. He's not gonna like lose one of the wingers for it.
That's
I
a
think
good point. That's a
he's
good
gonna
point.
have to drop. He's gonna have to drop Bernardo or Gunter for Calvin. I don't see that happening with that experience.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, because you think about that. So if he was to play a back 4 with Calvin Phillips and Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne would play in the centre, Haaland up top. You've only got 2 spots left, so he'd have to go Grealish or Foden on that left-hand side. And you know, I'd bet a lot of money that he'd want Bernardo Silva in the Champions League games because of the energy he brings. So he'd have to play right. But a lot of people not happy at the moment with Bernardo playing right. People don't want him on the right. People want him in the middle. Well, if we play double pivot, it's unlikely that he's going to be in the middle there, unless he is that second player. We've seen him play so defensively recently that maybe he is. Maybe it's not Phillips. Maybe it will be Bernardo Silva. But then it sort of begs the question as to why did we sign Phillips anyway? I don't know. It's a weird one. We've never won a Champions League.
Also,
so-
guys, I also have to go. By the way, I have some work as well.
Yeah, no worries, bro.
Thank
Appreciate you
you.
coming
Thank
on,
you
man.
for getting me in. Thank you.
Yeah, pretty wild, man. That's good, man. I'll probably wrap it up there, to be honest with you. Thanks a lot to MX, man, for coming on. And Nick Tor, yes. How's it, bro? Thanks a
One
lot
more
for coming on.
thing.
Yeah.
Spider-Man will come good. I'm telling you, on the right or up top, he's my favorite player. I'm telling you, I have a feeling that Julian Alvarez is going to shock a lot of people. I've seen him play. The energy he brings to the team. I think he's going to go to the top. I think he's too good to be sitting on the bench. And I think either whether it's on the right, well, he's not going to replace Haaland, or on the left, I think he will actually come really good for us and will be actually a crucial part of the team. I think he's so underrated. And yeah, I think
he's underrated as well. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if he was in the stream, bro, when we looked at his minutes, right? And we go through all the games.
Yeah, I was there.
He's played in actual games where he started the game and it's not been a crappy game like the Leicester one. He's always scored a goal. So the guy is a bagsman. He's clinical. He's got massive potential. And I kind of agree with you, man. Yeah. I don't know what City going to do with him because he's too good to be sat on the bench, and he won't sit on the bench forever. So we either have to go 2 up top, or you have to stick him out on the wing. But does he really want to be playing out on the wing? Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. So let's see what happens with that one. Anyway, boys, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks a lot for joining us, boys.
Thanks for having us.
Shout out MX. Shout out Nick Toll as well. Cheers, brother. That's the phoning show, man. I'm going to probably do another one on Friday. So if you guys want to get involved, people who are maybe a little bit nervous today, didn't really fancy it. You see Nick, it's easy. You're just coming on, talking about City. Hopefully you guys can join me on Friday. Probably same sort of time, man. But yeah, it was a good one. Shout out Ferg FIFA for the dono, the Gundo goal, statue 100% Champs League or not. I know Sai's gone, but appreciate Sai for the donos as well. And yeah, hopefully this evening, City Xtra will clean up awards, competitions, 2 awards as per Freddie. That's what he said. But yeah, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. There probably won't be any more content today now because we're going out. Obviously, you know what I mean, going to this awards night and actual back in the morning. But yeah, peace out. Have a good one. See you later.